Look at how different this first corner is. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, RF. How can you not see this? How can you not see this? I'll admit it. You've been making shitty tracks for like a minute. And I told you that I'm in it for the long haul. So here we are. RF, you do realize that these 2020 tracks are just Walmart knockoff brands of the 2017 tracks. You do realize that, right? Shout out to my home dog, Barneasy. That was a nice little comparison there, dog, because that is exactly what it is. And I think what has happened, by the way, we're going to be doing a comparison sort of in this video, okay? I'm going to start here on the 2020 Thunder Valley, then we're going to go back to the 17 Thunder Valley, right? And you will be shocked. You will be enlightened by how far down these tracks have really come over the past 2 and 3 years. It's insane. And I think what's happened is there's been so many people that's gotten into this game after 2017 that are playing the game now, so they don't even remember, they don't even know how it was, they don't even go back and ride on those tracks because they have this idea in their head that it was just a super old, before they had a road type track design, so those tracks must suck type idea, right? I feel like a lot of people get that in their head, so they don't even ride on anything pre a road, right? Then you have all the people that did ride back then that are still riding now, and I think what's happened to them is they have forgotten over time how good those tracks were in comparison to these newer tracks, because they have been so tunnel vision into this tracks built around a road thing that they've just completely lost sight of it. They've completely forgotten how it really was, how the tracks were really made back in the day, okay? So I just want you to really look at how this track is. Look at the ground decal. Look how Play-Doh, no texture, no nothing that the ground decal has. Completely loss of immersion on the track, because it literally looks like you're riding on some sort of dirt that just doesn't even look real. There's nothing real about it. And they have that kind of decal specifically for a road, okay? Because if they don't, you won't even be able to see a road, right? That's why they've been doing this whole super basic, literally looks like a game from 1997 type ground decals that they've been running. They do that because of a road specifically, okay? Before they had a road, they could have super realistic ground decals. Everything was so much more immersive. And I want you to pay attention to the way this roughness is on this track, right? So it's as if, right here in this particular section, right? It's as if you took a perfectly flat, smooth track, right? Perfectly, like, you know, flat, smooth Thunder Valley track, okay? And then you just went in there and you put the smallest of the smallest rollers, or the smallest of the smallest whoops. Do you guys not see what this is? Like, this cracks me up, dog. This is literally a joke compared to the way the roughness was made back in 2017. Look at this right here, okay? The roughness does not work into the ruts. The roughness does not go with the ruts on these tracks. It's like you have roughness, okay? And then that just cuts off, and then you just have ruts, right? Okay, so then you get up here, and it's the basically exact same kind of ruts you had in the corner before, okay? Roughness, you hit this jump, okay? Roughness, pretty much the exact same kind of roughness you had on the other side, okay? And pretty much the exact same sized and exact same designed ruts in this corner, okay? You get to this corner. It's 2 braking bumps and then weird-ass ruts that just don't... It's like they took a perfectly flat track, okay? Perfectly flat pre-made track, and then some beginner track maker came in here and tried to just whop down roughness real quick and whop down these random ruts real quick in some of these corners. That's what it feels like. This feels like a beginner track maker made this track compared to the 2017 tracks. And every corner feels this, all the ruts in all these corners feel the same. There is no variation or character to any of this shit. All of these ruts are the exact same size. All this roughness is basically the exact same size in every corner. You know what you're going to be hitting in every corner before you even get to it. Every rut is the exact same size. Every braking bump is the exact same size. I just want you to keep that shit in mind, okay? Keep that shit in mind and keep how basic this ground decal looks. Keep that shit in mind too. Okay. This is their 2020 Thunder Valley track. All right. So let's go back to a 2017 Thunder Valley track right here. And let's just do a little comparison, okay? Oh my God. It's insane when you go back to these tracks. There is no way in hell, absolutely no way, that you can ever convince me that any of those newer, like that newer 2020 Thunder Valley track is actually a better track than this 2017 Thunder Valley track. There is no way you will ever be able to convince me of that. There's no way you'll be able to convince me it's more fun. There's no way you'll be able to convince me it's got better ruts or better roughness or better character or better anything. It doesn't have better anything. It is literally worse in every way. Look at the ground decal here. Look at how much more real that looks and varied and like you're on an actual real track, which then plays into the immersion of it. Look at all the character on this track. Look at when you come into this corner. See how this is insane. This is insane how far backwards you have went with these track designs, RF. It's out of this world. It doesn't even make sense how far back you've went. And that's the thing. Let me just explain this before I go any further. What you are doing is you are giving up every other part of the track for the one and only quote-unquote pro of a road, which is the track is actually changing over time. That is the only thing you can actually say that is better about a road tracks before we had a road, is the fact that the track can change over time a little bit. That's it. That's the only better thing. Literally everything else about it is worse on a new 2020 track versus what it was in 2017. The ground decals are worse. The pre-made ruts are way worse. The pre-made roughness is worse. The way the entire ruts flow with the corner are worse. Everything about those newer tracks are worse. So you are giving up everything just to have that track change a little bit over one race. Just think about what the trade-off is, okay? And not to mention that, but the extra lag you get with the road, the extra issues you get with the road, the bullshit qualifying you get with the road. The list just goes on and on and on of all the more cons you have and the more negatives you have with the road that you never even had before a road. So you're giving up all of that just to have the track change 10% over a race, and it's not even a good terrain deformation system. The game wasn't even made for it. It's not like you give up all that to have a reflexes terrain deformation system in the game or something. If it was like that, okay, I could maybe start to understand what you were saying, but it's not even a good terrain deformation system. That's what doesn't make any sense. You're giving up everything to have a shitty, subpar, not even made for the game, terrible, not developed a road system in the game, just to have the track change. You boys are so caught up in that, it cracks me up. So look at these ruts right here, okay? You've got a big-ass inside rut. You got a medium-sized middle rut. You've got one bigger rut to the left that kind of can go into this huge outside rut. Look at all the character in just this one corner. It's insane. That is 10 times more fun to hit a corner like this than you could ever think about hitting on that 2020 Thunder Valley track. Even when it's eroded, it's not this fun to hit. There is no way you can convince me of that. There is absolutely no way. In this whole section right here, you can flow through these damn ruts and this roughness like you wouldn't imagine. You can go so fast around this outside in how big they made this outside rut. Okay, let me go back. I just want to go back and forth to really keep this shit in line, all right? So let's go to that same corner, okay? That same exact corner on the new 2020 track right here. And let me just show you the difference, okay? Let me show you the difference in this shit. It's insane. It is insane. Let me come over here, okay? So, let me find it. It's this corner right here, all right? So you come off this hill, okay? Let me get the actual bike over here so you can see it. But look at how different. It's like you get way too much speed up to this section now, and the ruts are so small, and the way the ruts curve in this corner so weird and sharp, they don't even flow with the corner. It makes it feel like you are on the gas. Okay, this is it right here, right? You're on the gas, and then by the time you actually get up here to these ruts, you've already slowed the bike down to literally like a snail's pace, literally like 15 miles an hour, right? Just to try to tiptoe in your Jordans to get yourself through these ruts. There is no like carrying your speed anymore, or carrying your speed into a rut, you know, fourth gear tapped out. How hard can you carry that speed all the way around that big ass rutted corner, carrying the speed, keeping the gas on? There's just none of that anymore. They've lost all of that carrying your speed around a big ass corner flying on a motocross track. They've lost every bit of that. Now it's slow down, tiptoe in your Jordans, bring the bike all the way to nearly a halt, because you've got to make sure you can slow all the way down to hit these small ass ruts that don't even flow with the corner. It is a completely, this is not even 1/10 of how much fun it is to hit a corner wide open, hit that same corner wide open on the 2017 one. It ain't even the same thing at all. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing, RF? There's no more words for this shit anymore. You were making tracks 5 times as good back in 2017. Like, what the hell? Stop trying to fix something that wasn't broken with something that isn't even made for the game. That's literally the definition of a road. You are trying to fix something that was never broken with something that the game was never even made for. You do realize that, right? And the developer of the game has said it himself. A road development is over. He said it's nightmarish. The demands are almost impossible. He's having to change other parts of the game just to try to make a road better, so then it's hurting other parts of the game. He would rather work on something he can actually make progress on, but no. Let's totally screw everything we've learned over all these years up to the point of 2017 with how to make these pre-made tracks better, how to make the ruts better, how to make the character of the track better, all this stuff. Look at this right here. Look at how much more speed you can carry and how much fun it is to try to carry your speed all the way through that rut versus having to just slow all the way down and tiptoe in your absolute Jordans and a half. There's nothing fun to that. There's nothing fun having to slow down in every corner just to try to hit some rut that's 1/3 of the size that it should be. There's nothing fun about that, RF. There's nothing fun. Okay, so you remember me telling you about how the 2020 track, the roughness doesn't really work into the ruts? Like, the ruts and the roughness aren't really... See, back in these days, back in 2017, it was like the ruts and the roughness were, you know, intertwined. It was like they perfectly were mixed together. Look at this shit. I just hope some of you guys can realize what I'm saying right here. Some of you are not going to understand it, but look at the uniqueness of this corner. Look at how different these ruts right here. You got one huge rut on the inside that's combined with the middle rut, and the middle rut flows to the outside rut, but you can still just go all the way around the outside, which is completely different than these ruts right here in this corner, which is totally different than the ruts in this corner. Look how different the ruts are designed in this corner, okay, which is totally different than the way the ruts are designed in this corner. It's like every corner The ruts are made in a different way, right? The ruts have, like, there's either a bigger inside rut, a smaller outside rut, and then you get to the next corner and the middle rut flows to the outside rut. Then you get to the next corner and there's 5 ruts and they're all small. Then you get to the next, it's always something different. There's character. There was character to these tracks. This is something that's been completely lost in those newer tracks. The shit's just boring. Every corner is the exact same. The ruts are built the exact same. They're the exact same size, exact same everything. And look at see how this roughness and these braking bumps actually work with the corner? They flow with the corner, okay? Let me go to this first corner area just to show you a little better on this. It's insane. Look at you see how these braking bumps are actually built into the corner. It's not like you just have braking bumps and then ruts in the corner. Like a 2 totally separated thing. They work together. They work into each other. Whereas when you go back to the 2020 track, it just looks like a beginner made these tracks. It literally does. Looks like you took a perfectly flat, smooth, no pre-made track and then just plop down like random roughness in random areas that don't make sense really at all. And then you plop down ruts, the same kind of ruts in every corner. It is just so basic. It is so much more basic of a design. I can't even explain it. I can't even explain it. Look at how much more fake the ground decal looks right here. It literally looks like you're on some, super old game. It just doesn't. Look at this. Of a game that is already lacking in graphics from 2007, the last thing you want to do is make less realistic ground decals, okay? That is the last thing you want to do. And some people are saying, well, they have to do that so that you can see the road better. That's just another one of those things. Another one of those trade-offs. Another one of those shitty things that comes along with the road that you are giving up just to have that track change a little bit over one race. You're giving up everything. You're giving up the better roughness. Look at how different this first corner is. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, RF. How can you not see this? How can you not see this? This is so shitty. This looks like I'm looking at somebody's first track in comparison, okay? Look at this first corner. Just memorize this. Just get this really ingrained in your mind, what this first corner right here looks like. These weird-ass shitty roughness up to it. And then, boom, you just plop down ruts, 3 of the exact same size ruts, and just randomly, like, no rut out here on the outside. The fuck is that? I don't know. But, okay, just remember that. Remember what this first fucking, or technically second corner area looks like. Okay? Just keep that in mind. Let's go back. Let's go back, dog. I ain't done yet. Oh, no, RF. We're just getting started, baby. We're just getting started, dog. I'm going to be making a whole video on this shit one of these days. Going back and comparing. Because this is a joke, what they are doing with these new tracks. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. So let's get over here. You remember what that second corner looked like? Look at the difference. Look at the difference. Different varied roughness. Like it looks like it's rougher up the inside than it is the outside. You've got one of these stringer ruts going all the way into the corner. It's not just like you have roughness and then boom, ruts. There is one rut going all the way up to the corner. Then you get to here, look at all the line options. You have an outside, you have a middle rut, you have a third rut. You have 4 ruts in this corner. And it perfectly flows with the corner to where you can actually carry your speed. You don't just have to tiptoe on your Jordans everywhere. That's how all of the corners felt back on these 17 national tracks. Some of you boys need to, don't just take my word for it. Go ride on them. Go download the 2017 RF national tracks and compare them directly to what it feels like riding on those newer 2020 tracks. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Listen, RF. If you took the whole population of the game, okay, let's just say you could take the whole population, pro racers, people that aren't racing, amateur racers, new players, people that's had the game forever, you could take all of those different kind of people, okay, and just set them down and let them ride. Let's say they've never rode on any one of these tracks that I'm talking about right here before, okay? Let's just imagine that they never have before, right? And you sat them down and you had them ride on that 2020 Thunder Valley track, right? And then you set them down and you have them ride on this 2017 Thunder Valley track. I can promise you there is going to be at least 90% of the people that are going to say this 2017 Thunder Valley track is above and beyond what that 2021 is. It is way more fun, way better. The ruts flow at the corners way better. There's so much more immersion because the ground decal actually looks more realistic. There's so much more character to the track. There's so much more fun factor and replayability and skill gap and line choice and everything. I can promise you 90% of the entire population of this game, at least 90%, could be more, would say they would prefer to ride on this 2017 Thunder Valley track than the new 2021. Period. I mean, I'm just telling you right now, that's the way it is. Yeah, you've got your little RF suck-up fanboy so stuck in this road bullshit mindset. You got a few pro dudes out there that are like that. They are so caught up in that stupid-ass world that, yeah, those dudes are going to be like, oh, no, I want to ride on this new 2020 track, even though it's completely terrible, way worse in every other aspect. It's way worse in every aspect, but I just want to ride on it because the track changes 5% over the race. Oh, my God. It's amazing, dude. Like, literally. That's it. You're giving up everything. This 2017 Thunder Valley track is 10 times better for people playing in single player or playing solo. It is literally 10 times better for that. That's not even a question, which is 90% of the population of the game plays these tracks in single player. You do realize that, right? Okay. And I would even say it's way better. Look at how big that rut is on the inside. There is no way in hell a road can ever make a rut of this size that actually feels like this. It's impossible. I've rode on a few tracks where a road has made a rut somewhat of the same size, but when it does that, it's so janked, it's so fucked up, and the terrain is so spliced that it's not even the same thing anyways. It's not even the same kind of rut anyways. Any kind of rut that a road can make, pre-made can make better. Anything that a road can make on the track, pre-made can do better. That's all there is to it. That's it. It's just like, bro, come on. Come on, dude. What the fuck are you guys doing with these new tracks? What are you doing? Look at how much more just having that more varied, like, ground decal where it look, you at least have a little bit of a look like there's ruts going up the jump face. Look at how much more that adds to the track. In the tractions, this traction on this track is so much better than that new traction. I don't know what they are doing with those newer tractions. Again, it's another case of trying to fix something that wasn't broken. There's no reason to ever have made different tractions than what you had on these 17 tracks. There's no reason. They were great. That you had an awesome sand traction for Southwick. You had an awesome Redbud traction. Oh my God, don't even make me have to go in here and compare the Redbuds from 17 to 2020. You boys are literally going to laugh your ass off. It's just comical at this point. It is comical how bad, how much worse these newer tracks are from a 17. It's comical, bro. And a lot of you newer players to this game, you don't even realize it. It's like you don't even ride on these 7. You don't even know what it was like. Dog, I'm telling you, you're going to have 10 times more fun on a 17 RF track than you will any of these newer tracks. I promise you will. I promise you. People just so quickly, and yeah, that's been a while back, right? In the grand scheme, we're almost 3 years since we've had those 2017 tracks. And, people forget about how things are in that amount of time. They really do. But it's just like, what is this? This looks like somebody's first time ever building roughness on a motocross track. That's literally, you do realize that, RF. This is literally somebody's first time ever building roughness on a motocross track. There's no character to it. The roughness doesn't actually flow into the ruts in the corner. You just have, it's like you just plop down braking bumps on a flat surface, and then boom, you plop down ruts on a flat surface. It's just so weird. It's so basic. It's so beginner. It's so stupid looking. It's so much more fake looking. It doesn't even look real. This track literally doesn't even look real to me at all. Nothing about it looks real. In one of the most annoying corners right here, you gain one of the fastest parts of the whole track. You think you're going to be able to gain speed and actually carry it through this corner. Nope. You get to the corner and there's all these small ass ruts and they don't even flow with the corner. Look at how tight they cut this corner. You see where the rut should have went? You see how that rut should have went all the way on the outside right here, but they decided to totally just cut it short of the actual outside of where those little, those little yellow fucking sticks are out there, right? They try to just cut it up the inside even more. Why would you do that? It's like you're trying to cut the ruts to where they don't even flow with the corner anymore. What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Look at this right here. Perfectly flat on the outside because they just cut the ruts. And then you just eliminate the lines. You eliminate being able to hit a bigger line on the outside. This is just sad. This is sad, bro. What a joke. What a joke. Oh, man. Oh, man. It's just getting worse and worse. A lot of you boys thought, how in 2019 outdoors, the tracks were absolute shit at the start. And then by the end of it, they started getting better and better. So many of you dudes had this idea that, they got it in 2020 outdoors, Spencer. They're going to start really coming in here, having a lot more pre-made ruts, a lot more pre-made everything. It's going to be great, man. And this is what they give you. This is what they give you. Just remember everything you're sacrificing for that shitty ass road system that wasn't even made for the game. Just think about everything that you're sacrificing for that. And let me just tell you something about one-lined, okay? I know that's one of the biggest arguments about it all. Oh, those 2017 tracks were so one-lined. Everybody was just hitting the same exact line. Okay. Let me explain to you right here how you solve that right away. This shit is so simple. If I was running RF, if I was one of the track makers in RF, you would never have another shitty track again. Ever. Literally ever. I promise you wouldn't. I wouldn't let those motherfuckers come out with some of this bullshit they've been coming out with in 2020. I wouldn't let them do it. It's lazy. It's just RF, that's all. It's lazy. Looks like you went in there on a perfectly flat Thunder Valley and just plop down shit in like 5 seconds. That's what it looks like. I'm just telling you, that's what it looks like. So, let me explain something about this whole one-lined idea that some of you guys are getting, okay? So, the reason why some of these pre-made tracks get so one-lined in racing is because they come out with the track 2 or 3 days before they even run the race, and there's open qualifying, so you can go in there and run as many laps as you want to on that track. You could run 1,000 on it if you wanted to. You could run 3,000 on it if you wanted to. I don't give a shit what kind of track you make. If you have open qualifying where people can go in there and qualify as much as they want to for multiple days, you are going to have a one-lined racing situation in the pro race. Period. It don't matter how you make the track. If you give enough people time on a track, they will find that one perfect line. That's not to take away from 2017 pre-made tracks or solid pre-made tracks and say, oh, we can't do that. We got to do a road because that shit's too one-lined. You idiots. All you have to do is go in there and only give people 30 minutes to qualify on that new pre-made track. 30 minutes. Tops. Right? So that's like 2 qualifying sessions. Just listen to me. This is what you should be doing. You should have tracks like these 2017 tracks. Give people 30 minutes to qualify before the race. 2 qualifying sessions, and that's it. And then boom, they got to get in there and race. Just like that. They don't have 3 days to sit there and run laps on it. And I promise you, if you do that, The tracks will not seem nowhere near as one-lined as they do whenever you give people 2 and 3 days to qualify on the shit. It will not seem even close to being as one-lined because people won't have time to sit there and analyze every little speckle of the track and every little corner and every little aspect. It'll be sort of like in the race, it's like, oh, okay, no, maybe that inside pre-made line is actually quicker. Or no, maybe this other way to hit this one section is actually quicker. You know, it makes it more interesting in the race whenever you limit how much time you have to qualify. That's your problem right there. It's not the pre-made being too one-lined. It's you're giving people too much time to qualify on the tracks. Dude, this shit is not hard to understand. It's not. You boys do not think outside of the box. You don't. You think so basically about this shit. So many of you guys have this idea that if there's not a road, if there's not terrain deformation, it's so one-lined and the track's never going to change and the racing is worse and it's boring. You don't even consider anything else. You don't even look at anything else. That is all you think in your head, is if it doesn't have terrain deformation, it's worse in every way. What the like, dog. Like I go back and say, there is only one positive that you can even remotely pull out of this whole road thing, is that the track does somewhat change in one individual race. That's it. That's the only positive of it. That's the only thing that is better about it than a actual full-blown 2017 pre-made track. That's the only thing. So you're giving up the realistic ground decals, the better looking ground decals, the more character to the ruts in the corners, the bigger ruts in the corners that actually flow with the corners that you can actually carry speed into. You're giving up actual roughness that flows into the corners. You're giving up, not having to worry about lag. You're giving up all of the extra benefits that these tracks had. You're giving up the better qualifying, the more even qualifying, the fair qualifying. Lap times don't even mean anything anymore because this guy could have got his fast lap when there was 40 people on the track instead of 10, and you're going to have a completely different track than that guy had, whereas back in 2017, the lap times were the lap times. If you couldn't run that certain lap, you just weren't as fast, bro. Period. And that's not the way it is anymore. If somebody runs a certain faster lap time than you, it don't even necessarily mean that they're faster. They could have just had a bigger eroded rut in a certain corner that makes their lap time 2 or 3 seconds faster than it should be. It's totally fucked up all of the actual lap time comparison. All you dudes acting like you have some kind of clout because you ran a certain lap on one of the newer 2020 tracks with the road. You do realize that doesn't mean shit, right? You do realize that. I'm just telling you. It doesn't mean a damn thing. Means absolutely nothing, because you can run whatever the fuck lap you want to on that one particular lap where you happen to have eroded that one corner perfectly, where it wasn't too hardcore, but it was just big enough to where you could just hammer the gas in one corner and then boom, you get 5 seconds a lap quicker. Whereas back in these days, you had to actually be faster. You had to actually go faster on the track. That was the only way you were going to get a faster lap time, period. But nowadays, it's so uneven. There's so many more variables now to everything. Talking about overcomplicate everything. That's all a road has done to this game. It's overcomplicated everything. It was so simple. This is what MX Simulator was made for. Solid, pre-made design tracks. Period. That's what it was made for. It wasn't even made for a road. It was a game made in 2007 by one guy. This is the shit the game was made for. Stop trying to put something in this game that it wasn't even made for. Stop trying to do that. You see how much worse it is when they have to try to build their tracks around it. It's insane. It'd be one thing if they were still building their tracks like these 2017s, but then they were just putting like the smallest of the smallest road that you could ever possibly imagine on top of it. That would be one thing, but that's not at all what they're doing. They're changing everything about the way they make the pre-made versions of the tracks just for a road specifically. They're changing everything. It's insane. It's not even the same game anymore. You guys are going to have to start realizing this at some point. You really are. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. I'm telling you, these 2020 tracks, Supercross and outdoors, is literally the worst tracks for its time that they have ever made before. I'm telling you, it's the worst it's ever been. Yeah, there was a couple at the start of the 2019 Outdoor Series that were absolutely god-awful. Just absolutely terrible. And this track right here actually kind of reminds me of the way those really shitty tracks were in 2019, which just gives such a bad taste in my mouth. It's just terrible. You know, it's such a facade, dude. It really is. They're trying to make it look like they're putting roughness and ruts down on the track, but in reality, it's nowhere even close, and it's never going to, no matter what kind of a road level you run on this, or how many people you put to race on this, you're still never going to have what you have with the 2017 track. It's still not going to be able to make that. Not even close to that. It's just like, what is there to even say? Dude, the amount of different line options you can actually attempt to try to hit right here is insane. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ruts in one corner. Every one of the ruts are a totally different size. There's roughness working into... Look at it. This is insane. Look at the balance of this. So see how you have these smaller braking bumps to the left and you got bigger braking bumps to the right? Okay, and the braking bumps continue all the way up to this point on the right, but they don't on the left, which gives you total characteristic, total cool, unique feeling to the track. You've got more braking bumps on the inside than you have on the outside. You got smaller ruts, shorter ruts on the inside than you have on the outside. It's insane. This is so much more advanced track creation than what you're doing right now. This is so much more advanced than that. All right, I'm done with this video. How much more is there to prove? How much more is there to say? They've lost it. They've lost it. I just hope some of you guys eventually wake up to this shit. Go back and ride on a 17 again. Make MXM great again.